Coming up on Thunder Insider, we'll talk about the Thunder's transition offense versus its half-court offense. Plus, the Thunder celebrate with their season ticket members by hosting a party.
It's actually the reason that we got the season tickets to begin with, was because this is a fun family event that we can all enjoy together.
And we'll have more on how the Thunder helped 3 teens' dreams come true through the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah, that was great.
Got to be my favorite player.
It's all coming your way starting right now on Thunder Insider. Well, the Thunder came back home and took care of business. Welcome to another edition of Thunder Insider. I'm Leslie McCaslin, joined by our excellent broadcast team, Matt Pinto and Grant Long. After a couple of tough games on the road, the Thunder won one, then they come back home, winning 2 here at home. They now have one of the better winning streaks in the league with 3 games. Maybe what's most impressive is that in the last 4 games, they have held their opponent under 90 points. What stuck out to you, Grant, about this last week of play?
Well, winning their last 3 out of 4 also impressive, but the way that they've been doing it on the defensive end of the floor, generating some offense that way also. But I think when you hold opponents to less than 35% over a stretch of time, you're really ramping up to play postseason defense, and I think that's where this ball club is right now. They're all on the same page defensively, rebounding the basketball, the frontline players. These guys have really been engaged on the glass, and I think that's a big key moving forward.
And then offensively, Grant, I like the balance. I like the fact that, especially at home, this team, you see Durant right around 20 and Westbrook around 20. There are a lot of other guys at or close to double figures. Reggie Jackson's emergence, I think, has really solidified how this team unifies in terms of its rotation on the offensive end of the court. But that balance, Leslie, to me is going to be important for them to sustain on the road from this point forward and into the playoffs, because we see a lot of the 30-plus point nights from Durant and Westbrook on the road. More balance, I think, is what Scott Brooks would prefer to see.
Yeah, Nick Collison said at this point in the season, you've only got 10 games left, 4 more now at home. They want to be playing at the highest level they can play as they head into the playoffs. Okay, we talk so much about transition defense with this team, the pace that they can play on, but how do the big men help this, get started with the outlet passing and the little things that they do?
You can't run without the ball, so go get it after a missed shot. That's where it starts. But I think the other part of that is that they're mindful of getting it out quickly so the Thunder can be in attack mode. That's when they're at their best. And Grant, there's an art to that. You've got to look for the outlet man, and you've got to be decisive in getting him the basketball so you can stay in attack mode like Durant is here.
Well, I think also what helps that is you see guards like Westbrook, and even when Durant's at the helmet with the basketball, they're always moving toward the other end of the floor when he realizes, or when they realize that their frontline players have the rebound. They start taking off. They start moving toward the other side, and I think that gives them an advantage on the other side as well. But the outlet pass most of the time is going to be key where it is. If it's up the floor rather than having your point guard standing right next to you, if you can advance the ball quickly on a pass, it certainly gives you an advantage in transition.
Well, on the other side, their half-court offense is something that, especially in the last couple of games, we've really seen them settle down and really play well on the offensive end. What is it that they're doing when the defensive set is to be successful ball movement? What have you seen the last couple of games?
I think one of the biggest underrated things about this offense, Grant, is the big men's ability to set solid screens. I think they do it as well as any team in the NBA. From Perkins, Ibaka's gotten better, and then Nick Collison off the bench. But Perk and Nick especially set a standard that I think the other guys really aspire to deliver when they're out there. They are inspirational in the way they do it. Everybody gets involved in it. Some guys set brush screens, other guys just obliterate defenders from guys, and it comes to a point, and having played as long as you did, if you're trying to chase a guy off a pick and that pick is solid, you get knocked off your game and you get taken aback a little bit.
Well, we understand that everybody on this team has a role to play, and our frontline players on the ball club, that's what their role is. Rebound, play solid defense, and set door slamming screens, and we see that from this group a lot. My coach told me in college and in high school a long time ago, the screener is always freer. So if you set a good screen, you're going to be the guy that's going to be open at some point. And you see the numbers of assists that go up for the frontline players because they are open. You see Perk make that pass, the interior pass, quite a bit. because he's open so many times, because he sets a good screen.
I mean, you can't talk enough about the importance of ball movement. We've seen it in the last 2 wins, 20 assists, 23 assists. They are a different team. I mean, they blew out opponents when they're moving the ball like that.
Think about this, though. The guys that are getting incorporated in the passing, Perkins is now at the top, and Collison making those passes to Kevin Martin along the baseline. The big guys are getting involved in the passing.
It isn't just the passing, though. It's the player movement as well, because we can talk a lot about moving the ball. If you're stationary and not finding crevices in the defense to attack, then it's really for naught, and you're kind of meandering around. It's also decisive cuts, which this team also, as the season's gone on, has gotten better at.
All right, thanks, Matt, for joining us. Grant, stick around. You can't go anywhere yet.
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
We have a good group of guys that, as a team, we score a lot of points. We shoot a high percentage, and we do it with good IQ, and we stop teams from scoring.
Hey, Thunder fans. Well, the Tulsa 66ers are having their annual affiliate night this Saturday, the 30th. You'll be able to check out the Storm Chasers, Thunder Girls, and Rumble as the 66ers take on the Austin Toros. Welcome back to Thunder Insider. We are now joined by Nick Gallo from thunder.nba.com. We've talked a little bit about the big men, how the offense has been rolling lately. Let's talk, though, about what the guards do, not just Russell Westbrook, but also Reggie Jackson, and the fact that every time they are on the floor, they're having to look at the pick and roll defense, figure out what their options are. So many decisions to make in a split second. Nick, how do they do it?
Well, it's dedicated to their hard work. Russ and Reggie and Kevin Durant have all put in tons of work with the bigs on this team to get that pick and roll down properly. But I think that their decisions are getting easier because of the picks that Perkins and Ibaka are setting up top, and then also the spacing that they're getting from Kevin Martin and Tyler Sefolosha on the wings. That means that once they get those picks, they're kind of creating those advantage situations, 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, and the passes are easier because of that.
Grant, same thing for you. I mean, when they're rolling like this and when they're setting good picks, what does this do for them offensively?
Well, I think it's the quick decision by the ball handler. You see Russell coming off that screen set there by Ibaka. The 2 defenders go with him, and right away that opens up a passing avenue. So you have to be a quick decision maker when you're running that pick and roll in order to execute it at its highest level. And I think when you have handlers like Westbrook and Durant, these guys are looking for the pass right away if the double team occurs. If they have single coverage, they're coming off the screen and looking for their shot opportunities. And that's the best way to do it, because now if you have a shot opportunity, it's going to free up the screener like Collison or Ibaka or even Perkins to go in and crash the offensive glass. So when the pick and roll is executed at its highest level, everybody gets involved.
Westbrook is always super aggressive, but one thing I've noticed with him is his patience in the lane. He's using head fakes, pass fakes, hesitation dribbles, and all of that's throwing up the timing of the defense that expects him to be going at the rim full speed. So that's created some more passing lanes as well.
Well, we've seen this in the last couple of games. Like we mentioned earlier in the show, 20 assists, 23 assists in their last couple of wins. This is something that Reggie Jackson in the second unit has been really good at as well, getting guys like Nick Collison involved, Kendrick Perkins involved in the offense, guys that at some points in the season haven't been putting up double-figure scoring.
Well, this is now a trend for the Thunder this season. They're 23-2 when 5 or more guys score in double figures. They only had that 5 guys in double figures 11 times last season, so that's a big jump up this year. They're also 37-3 when they have more assists than their opponent. So the Thunder's really made a concerted effort to get guys involved. And one thing Russell Westbrook said is he's trying to do that early in the game because basketball is a game of confidence. And so if he can get guys involved early in the first quarter, the first few possessions or plays of the game, that's really going to get things rolling for this team.
I'll even go back to acquiring Kevin Martin in the trade. The fact is that he moves so well off the ball, you force your frontline players like Collison and Perkins to be able to make good passes, and that's why I think the assist total has also gone up, because he's brought a new element to this team as far as the movement off the ball and the great passing, the lanes that open up because he makes those backdoor cuts. When you have guys like Perkins, we've seen this guy with his interior passing. It's been great. And Nick Collison now getting involved with that 2-man game with Kevin Martin. I think the assist total is going to continue to climb.
Yeah, a lot of little things involved with that. Guys getting in the right spots. Nick Collison, we've seen that in the last couple games. So good at doing that. All right, well, with just 10 games left in the regular season, the Thunder will face 6 playoff contenders and some difficult road tests. It's that time of the year when the team is fine-tuning everything and getting set for the postseason. Here's more from the team on getting guys involved on offense and how they can improve in that area down the stretch.
Sefolosha asking for the ball in the near corner. Durant will drive, pull up a mid-block, and score. Westbrook skying and streaking past Aldridge to score on the break.
We have a good group of guys that as a team, and that's what I look at as a team. We score a lot of points. We shoot a high percentage, and we do it with good IQ. And we stop teams from scoring, and that's what we look at. We look at everybody as doing their job. Offensive set is easy to look at one guy scoring, but everybody has to help make that basket count by setting a good screen, by delivering the ball. We're one of the best offensive teams because we're good and we execute our plays.
Yeah, I think it's important for us to be able to give everybody confidence. Everybody feels comfortable in their game and what they're doing for this team. So it's important for us to do that every night.
Bounce! Look out below!
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
I didn't plan to make the shot, but I planned what happened if I made the shot, and it was a big if. And it just left my arm, and as soon as it left my hand, I was like, that may be going in.